This is a PICC line, a semi-permanent IV that goes from my arm all the way to my heart, and I'm finally about to get it pulled out.
Ready to roll here.
Are you ready, Chris?
No. So what I'm gonna have you do is I want you to look left. A nice deep breath.
Let's go.
I set a goal to run a minimum of 2 miles every single day for an entire year with 0 excuses. And I don't actually like running, but it had a major impact on me, which is probably different than you're expecting. So why don't we rewind a little bit and talk about how we got here. You are now watching the third most watched YouTube channel in the universe.
We're just here early.
What's up? I've been keeping my breath.
I had just moved to Bozeman, Montana for work and got invited to a company retreat for all of the top performers. One of the activities was snowmobiling, and I decided to get a little crazy. I wish it happened like that. What actually happened was far less cool. We stopped on top of the mountain to take pictures. And then this dummy started his snowmobile with the throttle pressed, which took off, hit me, and pinned me against a parked snowmobile. I ended up with a fracture in one leg, surgery on both knees, months in a wheelchair, several additional procedures, had my life flipped upside down, which actually has no direct relation to what's going on right here, which will all make sense by the end of the video. I had hit rock bottom. I'd lost my job, I gained a ton of weight, I felt super helpless. What at first felt like a devastating situation turned out to be one of the best things that could ever happen. Over the next several years, something clicked. There was a shift in my thinking, and I developed extreme accountability. I learned meditation, went to therapy, ate healthier, found gratitude, and bet on myself, and started making a bunch of YouTube videos. Lots of YouTube videos.
Last night I decided I'm gonna do these vlogs. Amazing lunch.
Not only did my life start to change, but what I thought was possible started to change. And one thing that I continue to tell myself is it doesn't get easier, I only get better. The stories that we tell ourselves will be the limitations that we are left to live with. I began setting challenges for myself, trying to regain my strength, power, and confidence. From losing 70 pounds, doing a 27-minute plank, going 472 miles in 1 month.
One of the funniest stories about Calendar Club is actually your story, man. Jusup, I don't know how he got this idea. I get this message from this dude who's like hobbling down the road at like 11 p.m. at night. He's like, bro, I decided to start with 30. I'm going in reverse. And then by the end of that day, you were like, I don't know, man. This seems like this was a bad idea, 30 miles off the couch.
And still had to keep going.
And you got it done, man. You got it done.
To climbing the Grand Teton twice in 72 hours with almost no climbing experience. And not only did I have all of that going on, most of the last 13 years, I've been a single father with sole physical custody of my son, Creasy.
Remember jumping off the bridge on the west side.
And last year we decided that he was going to spend the year with his mom so that they can develop a relationship. However, this meant this would be the longest and furthest I'd been away from him for a very long time, which I knew was going to probably mess with my head.
Dad, this is a sad moment. The last time I get to see you.
Once we run out of overhead space, we will have to check all bags that do not fit on the
Bye, Chris. And with that entire backstory brings us to the challenge, running a minimum of 2 miles every single day with 0 excuses. And the thing is I actually do not like running, which is the perfect thing for me to build a discipline around. And I was gonna do the entire thing sober, which I don't really even drink anyway, but this also meant no cannabis. I didn't want a crutch. I wanted it to be hard. I wanted to feel everything. This story is not over. We still gotta get to the scene where I'm getting my PICC line pulled out of my arm. Around the same time, I started a company with my cousins called Neverland. It's a Web3 based company building a blockchain racing video game with partners like West Coast Customs. Yes, MTV's Pimp My Ride West Coast Customs. And with all of that, life started to move extremely fast. We were working over 16 hours a day, hosting celebrity parties. I was speaking in Twitter spaces with major influencers like Blau and Logan Paul. It was crazy. We launched a Web3 podcast called The Alpha Podcast, and I began traveling the world interviewing some of the biggest players in crypto and Web3.
I'm here with Bartaj.
My name's Anthony.
What's up, everybody? Hunter Orel.
I go by Abstract.
Jordan Prince. I'm an engineer at Solana Labs.
And through all of this, I kept running. I ran in the morning, I ran at night, I ran in the sun, rain, snow, at temperatures as low as -30 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way up to 112 degrees. I ran around my neighborhood in swamps, through cities, beaches, mountains, ghettos, across 5 countries and 18 states. I got so comfortable running, I even signed up for a 100-mile race 10 days after this challenge finishes.
Signing up.
Every dollar counts to keep a startup afloat, which means we paid ourselves as little as possible and kept just reinvesting in the company. It was the hardest I'd ever worked, making the least I've ever in my entire life. It was extremely stressful, but we kept grinding. I went from crypto conference to crypto conference, filming over 50+ podcast episodes, meeting hundreds of VCs, and going to after parties to network, which is actually extremely exhausting for an introvert like myself, and I was sober the entire time still.
Get me out of this sausage fest.
After months of this and meeting and speaking with dozens of VCs, we finally got funded and were valued at $35 million. The hard work was paying off, or at least it should have felt like that. Every day I ran, and as the miles got longer and longer, the closer it was to the 100-mile race, I spent more and more time in my head, and the same thing kept coming up. Despite everything feeling like it was coming together, something was missing. In the midst of all this chaos, I hadn't uploaded a YouTube video in over a year and a half. I had started the Mr. Beast Penny series, which I spent $35,000 on filming the entire thing, and it all just sat on hard drives. I was so busy building somebody else's dream, I let my own slip away, and I left you guys hanging. And a few weeks before this challenge was supposed to end, I stepped away from Neverland, walking away from everything I had helped build the last year, with the mission to finish this 100-mile race and go all in on YouTube. But life had other plans for me. I have one run left before I've hit 365 days straight. We are 10 days away from the actual race. I really messed my back up. It f***ing hurts. 2 weeks before the 100-mile race, I got a life-threatening spine infection called discitis vertebral osteomyelitis. I didn't know I had it, doctors didn't catch it, and I attempted the race anyway. And there's a video on it if you haven't seen it yet. And because I was in such exceptional health, it took the doctors way too long to catch it. In fact, one of the orthopedic surgeons even said I'm lucky I'm not paralyzed. They had to put that PICC line in my arm so every day I could give myself IV antibiotics. I was in a back brace and on bed rest for almost 6 weeks. And after all of that, I was finally getting the PICC line pulled out.
This is the last time that I have to give myself antibiotics. And later today, we're getting the PICC line pulled out. Alright, here we go. Over, man. There's only one way you can look at going through something like this, and that's with pure gratitude. I mean, the opportunity to taste fucking death, to be so close to the one thing that you can never come back from and be able to come back from it. That is a powerful thing to experience. It hadn't even been 3 months since I had that PICC line pulled out. And despite doctors saying it would be impossible, I attempted another 100-mile race. But that's a story for another video. I'm fucking so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm like, fuck, man. Not stopping. We've just gotten started. Obviously, recovering from a life-threatening disease has put me below baseline both financially, physically, and even mentally. But I'm continuing my mission going all in on YouTube. This is going to be the year. I appreciate every single one of you that has been a part of the journey up until now, and I hope you're ready for us to take over YouTube.